and welcome to my July TBR. Am I tired of doing TBRs? A little bit. Okay, my cat finally moved from the spot I wanted to put this tripod, so let's move it there. Okay, here we are. So as always, I'm going to be talking about the books that I plan on reading in July. And I have 7 books here to talk about. I do plan on reading an 8th book for my book club, but we have not met yet to decide what the book club's gonna be. First and foremost, the book I'm looking most forward to and probably will read first is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. He is one of my favorite thriller authors, and this is his 2022 release. Basically, it is about this woman who is an actress who wants to get away from the spotlight a little bit. I think maybe she had some like drama or controversy recently in the media. So she goes to this cabin by a lake. And while she's there, she's kind of spying on the couple that lives in the house across from her. I think it's like, I forget what they are. There are 2 famous people as well, like a model and like an athlete or something like that. And she's sort of watching them, kind of befriends them, and then that woman, the model woman, ends up disappearing. And so she wants to try and figure out what happened to that girl. It's very similar, it's giving very similar vibes to The Woman in the Window. I never read that book, but I did watch that movie with Amy Adams. And I watched that other adaptation with Kristen Bell on Netflix that was like a parody. So I'm very interested to see what Riley's little take on it is going to be and all of the twists that he's going to put into it. Then for Buzzwordathon, as always, this is the Bookish Challenge by Books and Lala, where there's a different challenge each month that you try and meet. And for this month, the challenge is to read a book with like a bookish word in the title. So this could be like literally the word book, pages, words. I'm going with library, and my pick is The Midnight Library by Haig. I know, like, you've seen enough of this book, I'm sure. Back in 2020, I think is when it was popular. But I never got around to it, but I've always wanted to read it. So I'm gonna take advantage of this challenge and read it now. From what I understand, it is about a woman who is very depressed, dealing with a lot of heavy mental health stuff. And I think she's thinking about committing suicide, or she is in the process of it. And so the book is her going through all these different memories and like thinking about if she would have done things differently or something like that. Like, it's a very reflective book. It reminds me of something like maybe A Christmas Carol, where you're just reflecting on your past decisions. I've heard some really good things about it, that it's very inspirational and stuff, and I've heard some not so good things, that it's literally really cheesy and cookie cutter and just saying all these inspirational quotes, but in like not a very nuanced kind of way. So we'll see which review I agree with. Then I am also going to be filming a reading vlog where the theme is a mystery. So I'm just going to tell you the 3 books I'm going to read for that. So first up, it's going to be The Woods Are Always Watching by Stephanie Perkins. You guys may have seen that I read the first thriller book by Stephanie Perkins last month called There's Someone Inside Your House. So this is her second newer one. Don't really have high hopes for it based on the first one. And I think this actually has even lower ratings. So that should be interesting. So while the first thriller she did kind of went off the trope of there being like a slasher killer going around killing high schoolers from a school, this one is going with more of the camping, hiking trope. So these 2 friends are going on this last big hike together before they go away to college, and obviously some bad stuff ends up happening to them when they're in the woods. The summary is kind of vague, but I assume there'll be a killer, or maybe it will go the supernatural route. I'm not really sure. It's very, very short, so this one should take no time at all. Then I would like to read Hold My Hand by Michael Barakiva. Oh, and E. Lockhart actually did the blurb for it. She said, a love sandwich of Armenian American culture and romantic anguish with extra kissing and a side of LGBTQ plus empowerment. So much fun. And basically, this is the sequel to a book called One Man Guy that I read when I was in high school. It's a cute little gay romance where the main character is Armenian American, as you could imagine from that blurb, and it's about his like first love experience with this guy named Ethan. I read that a really long time ago, but I really liked it. And then I forget when it was, but at one point I found out that it had this sequel. So I've been really meaning to get to it. It's not one that many people talk about. You guys have probably never seen this before, I'm guessing. But since I read the first one and liked it, I would like to read the sequel, which I assume is just a continuation of their story, or maybe they've broken up and there's a new guy. I don't know. There are 3 guys on the cover, so I don't know what that means. And lastly for that vlog, I'm gonna read We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. This is the 3rd book in the Summer I Turned Pretty series. In my last TBR, I talked about reading the 2nd book in that series. So now, of course, I want to get to the 3rd one. I was wanting to read the whole series before watching the TV series that is now out, but I'm pretty sure the TV series only follows the 1st book. So I think I can just kind of watch it whenever, but I would like to just kind of finish the whole series before I watch that. If you guys don't know what this is about, it's like about a teenage girl who, oh my god, my cat is playing with something, who always goes to always goes to this summer house in the summer with her family and this other family, and then she gets into this love triangle situation with the 2 sons of her mom's best friend. It's just kind of a classic YA kind of story. Then I would like to get to Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. Speaking of adaptations, this one has been adapted to a series on Netflix, so it's just been on my mind since I saw that that series was out. All I really know about this is that it deals with like a mother-daughter kind of situation, and this daughter who thought she always knew who her mother was, and then something happens, like some violent thing or like something from the mom's past, I don't know, and the daughter realizes she actually doesn't know her mom at all. Her mom had this whole other identity, whole other mysterious past before she had her daughter. I assume it really escalates from there. I assume it's very dramatic and violent and graphic, as most of Karen Slaughter's books are. And it's a thick one, so it might take up a lot of my time this month. It's also probably pretty heavy in content, so not sure how quickly I'll get through this one. But then once I'm done, I can watch the show. And the final book on my TBR is Morning Star by Pierce Brown. This is the 3rd book in the Red Rising trilogy, which I've been reading. It's basically a sci-fi kind of dystopian story that deals with kind of a lot of tropey things, like an underdog character that's kind of rising up and this whole sort of uprising happening. It's been pretty fun. I think I've given the books like 4 stars. It always confuses me a little with a lot of the space and sci-fi terminology going on, and sometimes I feel like Pierce Brown isn't super clear with his writing of what's going on, but I also always feel really invested and excited reading it, and there's a lot of twists and stuff like that. So I am excited to read this 3rd book in the trilogy. I know that there is a whole other trilogy after this series. I'm not sure if I'm going to read that 2nd trilogy in this world. I'm gonna have to maybe see how this one ends and see how definitive of an ending it is, or how interested I am in continuing with this world. I feel like I don't always love when authors just keep cashing in on their same world and just building and building on it. I know it's ironic when we have Miss Cassandra Clare here and her whole shelf of doing that, but I think her case is interesting because it's pretty much different characters in each series and different like time periods. But if it's just a continuation of like Darrow and his story, which I think this is, not sure how interested I am in that. But anyways, I'm definitely at least going to finish this 1st trilogy, and I am excited to see how it will end. Although I guess I know that Darrow survives because I think I know that he's in the other series. So anyways, as always, that TBR was pretty quick. Let me know if you've read any of these books and if you think I will like them. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your summer. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!